Hey guys, welcome to Proto Point. So this is the 11th part of our tutorial on building URL sorting application in Flutter with Node.js and MongoDB at the backend. So in our previous part, we are done with registering the user and logging the user. And now we are in our dashboard page through which a user can submit his long URL. So we are in this dashboard page. So here we have a text field and a submit button through which a user can submit his long URL and in return he get a short URL. So we are going to work on this. So let's get started. Okay, so here in the dashboard page, the user is going to submit a long URL of which he need a short URL. So before that, let me show you my backend, the API that we are going to hit. So this is my Node.js backend URL sorting backend code. This is the REST API that we are going to hit. So as you can see, I am accepting two parameters from the request body from the front end. That is user ID, that is the ID of the user who is going to submit this long URL, and the long URL string that comes from our text field. Okay, and then it will just generate a sort ID and return the sort ID to the user by storing the sort ID in our MongoDB database. Okay, so this has already been done in our previous tutorial. You can just check the previous tutorials if you want to know more about this API. So now we are going to hit this API by passing these two parameters. So let's do that. So to take input from this text field, I need to add a controller to this text field form, text form field. So just create a text edit controller over here, final text. So just attach this to our text field as a controller attached. Okay, so now I can just take the input, whatever the input the user has entered in this text field, I can just take it on button submit by making use of this text edit controller. So now here I have a elevated button, that is this button. So when this button is being pressed, I need to call a function. Okay, so let's do that. I can just create a function over here, URL submit. So here I am going to pass one parameter, that is the text that is entered in this text field. So text edit text long URL dot text. So now let me create this function somewhere over here. So void async. This will be async function because we are going to hit our backend, and the backend database operation may take some time. And now here let me accept long URL. Okay, so long URL is the parameter that is been passed from this text field. Okay, so now here to make a network call, that is HTTP post method get method, I must make use of getX connect package. Okay, so it has been already been discussed in our previous tutorial, that is this one. So I need to just create this instance over here. Okay, so by making use of this I can make HTTP calls. Okay, so here now final response is equal to await get connect dot post method. Okay, and URL and body, and our body will be of JSON type. Okay, so in our previous tutorial you can see over here, so this is the format by which we are going to make use of call HTTP calls. Okay, so here you can see I'm going to pass two parameters, so same thing will be done over here. Okay, so for this here in backend I'm going to accept two parameters, one is user ID and one is long URL. Okay, so the same thing I need to do over here, and long URL and ID I need to attach over here. Yeah, so here I need to get the user ID. Okay, so if you remember, when the user successfully logged in into our application, we are going to store it in our getX storage, that is shared preference. So from this shared preference I need to get the user data. Okay, so for this we can make use of get storage. So first of all I must use get storage over here, and now here when I hit it somewhere over here, final sorry, so map, so you can see the logged in user. So this is the logged in user. So if I rerun this application, reinstall it, sorry, so there is an error. So it will just comment this thing, rerun this application. So instance got connected, and I have this users signed in users record in my get storage. I need to get this. Okay, so to get this, I'm going to make use of map. Okay, so map of string. Okay, so our data, you can see I have stored it in this key in get storage. So I need to read that. So get storage dot read user, and now I will get the user data in user ID. User ID is equal to user data of underscore ID. So you can see over here. So this whole thing is a user ID, and out of this I only need this ID, that is underscore ID. So I'm going to make use of this. Okay, so now I get this user ID and I can just submit it over here and the long URL. So after successful submitting, I get the response from the backend, that is this URL, that is short URL, and in the short URL I get this URL. So I can just print it over here. Print response dot body short URL. Okay, so you can see response dot body dot short URL. So it's response dot I have status as true and short URL as this URL. So I can just print it over here. And now if I run this application, initializing, yeah. So I need to start my backend also. So here node index, I can just start. Okay, so it got started, and now let me submit a URL. Okay, so this is the URL. We'll just take it for our demo. Okay, so I'm just pasting it. So now if I submit, I think so I got some error. Yeah, okay, so I just forgot to replace this URL of my backend. So my URL is this thing, and I'm going to hit this REST API. So let me check the IP address of my system. So terminal IP config. So IP address is 239. Yeah, so it's, yeah, correct, it is. So I will just restart my application again, reinstall it. So reinstalling, so it is running. I'll just paste my long URL. So now if I submit, you can see I get this response. So now let me check if this works or no. So I'm just pasting it. Okay, so you can see if I paste this URL, I will be redirected to this protocodespoint.com. It's working. Okay, and I get this response over here. So now what I can do, I can just show a sneaky bar that this URL has been submitted successfully. So for this also I can make use of get sneaky bar dot URL created as a title, and message will be this URL. So here I will just get this message from this data. Okay, restart it again. So this time let me take some other URL and submit it over here. So this is the long URL. So I'm going to submit it. So you can see I get this response, URL created. Okay, so I need to also erase this once the data has been submitted to our backend. Okay, so this I can easily do by storage dot text. I can just set it to null. Submit successful, and you can see it got erased. Okay, so this is the long URL, no, short URL, sorry. Okay, after submitting the long URL, I will just show a list of short URL that is been submitted by that particular user. So that's all for this video tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe Protocol Point. Thank you.